Major changes are coming to the New York Knicks as a report has revealed shocking details from multiple different insiders where there is news that multiple different levels could see changes this offseason for the New York Knicks as many different people will be on the hot seat. Trades are very possible with specific players, especially in regards to Kevin Durant, rumors being a huge part of things, as one of the biggest reports we've seen in years about the New York Knicks is now officially turning Knicks fans' lives upside down, as no one saw all of this coming on a random Monday between the playoffs and the regular season. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into things. No, that was not hyperbole. This is one of the craziest reports we've seen in years, one of the craziest reports I've seen since being on Knicks Digest. Guys, if you are part of that 63% that's not subscribed, make sure to subscribe to Knicks Digest. This is the place to be for all New York Knicks content. You guys do not want to miss out. But let's jump into the video. We have a lot to discuss. Multiple people could be on the hot seat, will be on the hot seat for the New York Knicks if things do not go right in the playoffs this year. That includes these two guys right here. Yes, Leon Rose and William Wesley, the two guys making the decisions. Head coach Tom Thibodeau and even some players are involved. The Knicks could be making some major changes. James Dolan is getting ready to make a move. The New York Knicks, they better show up in the playoffs or jobs are gonna be open, trades are gonna happen, and things could start to look a lot different for better or worse. So let's jump into it, guys. We have a new report from none other than everyone's favorite New York Knicks insider, Ian Begley, but there's more than just Begley's reports. But starting off with this, Begley said that he does think there's a strong possibility, a solid possibility that changes are coming if the Knicks flame out against Detroit, or even if they're non-competitive in the second round against the Boston Celtics. To get more specific, earlier this year, someone asked him about Tom Thibodeau, and he thought, based off everything he'd heard coming into the year, he didn't think there was a scenario where the Knicks would change their head coach. Now, more recently, having conversations with people, seeing which way the wind is blowing, the stakes are high for Tom Thibodeau going into this postseason. So specifically in regards to the main guy on the hot seat, that is New York Knicks head coach Tom Thibodeau. We have seen a lot of coaches get fired recently on good teams. Michael Malone, Taylor Jenkins, both axed from their jobs. Both guys who are going to be at the top of many teams' head coaching lists going into this offseason. Other head coaches will be fired. We saw Mike Budenholzer get fired. Jenkins and Malone will both be guys the Suns go after. And if the Knicks fire Tom Thibodeau, you better believe they're going to go full force at Michael Malone for sure. Maybe Taylor Jenkins as well, but Malone will certainly get contacted by the Knicks and get an interview with this team. Now, things do depend, though. It depends a lot on if this man right here, Leon Rose, is still going to be in the building next year. Now, that is a big question. It felt inevitable not that long ago that the Leon Rose, Tom Thibodeau show was going to go on, but Tibbs now needs to prove something in these playoffs, and if things go real poorly, Leon Rose could be on the hot seat next. Now, here's the thing. Before Tom Thibodeau gets fired, or before Leon Rose would get fired, Tom Thibodeau would get fired. That's evidently clear that the Knicks would get rid of Tibbs before Leon gets axed. Leon is close with New York Knicks owner James Dolan. It's going to take a lot for Dolan to fire Leon Rose, especially when Leon's track record with the Knicks has been wildly successful. Arguably the biggest blunder of his career with the Knicks was the Mikal Bridges trade. Gave up 5 firsts for Mikal, who's not really proven to be worthy of 5 first-round picks, but he still had a very good season, and it depends on the playoffs. It depends on his impact on winning for the New York Knicks. If Mikal could prove that he's a positive impact player, then yeah, it's going to be worth those picks. If he can't, then he won't be. And things could change. Mikal Bridges could get traded. So much could happen this offseason, and it's all based off how the Knicks do in the playoffs. But Tibbs is the one to most worry. Now, he has a 226 and 174 record with the Knicks in his head coaching career. Now, in that time, the Knicks have averaged 111.7 points. They've averaged 11 points per game. They've averaged 111.7 points per game with 24 assists. They've done well. They've shot the 3 ball all right. The field goal percentage is fine. Free throw percentage is a little low. The Knicks defense has been elite under Tibbs, but things are now changing. And as I mentioned, the Knicks would go full force at this man, Michael Malone, who had a 471 and 327 record with the Denver Nuggets and then recently got fired amidst a bunch of beef between Mike Malone and the then GM of the Denver Nuggets, who also got fired the same day as Mike Malone when they cleaned house just 3 days before, or 3 games before the playoffs. Things have gotten very weird in the NBA as multiple people are seemingly on the hot seat. Now, one of the biggest knocks against Tom Thibodeau and even Leon Rose, you could call it based off roster construction, is the fact that against the top 3 teams in the NBA, the Knicks did not win a game, going 0-10. Now, the Knicks, they had a pretty damn good record this year. They won over 50 games. And still 10 losses came to these teams. They did not beat the Cavs once. They didn't beat the Celtics once. They didn't beat the Thunder once. That one game against the Thunder was pretty close. The Knicks had a great game against the Celtics recently. The Knicks had a huge lead against the Cavs that they blew. There's been moments that they could have won these games. They could hang with these teams, but they haven't been able to, and they've often lost based off adjustments by the other teams that Tom Thibodeau did not make, and that makes Tom Thibodeau a little bit more expendable than usual. Also, let's be honest. You then have to ask your question. Certainly, Mark Daigneault's a better coach than Tom Thibodeau. Let's be real. Is Kenny Atkinson? Is Joe Mazzulla? Mazzulla, probably. Kenny Atkinson? Can go both ways, but Kenny's been one hell of a coach for the Cleveland Cavaliers, very obviously. This season, he was a better head coach, absolutely. Makes you wonder. Are the Knicks going to be afraid that their real problem is they don't have an elite head coach and they want to go for one? LeBron James said it best when you look at the top teams from the Western Conference Finals, the Eastern Conference Finals. When you get to the Conference Finals, it's very rare that you don't have a great coach. Given LeBron said this soon after making the Western Conference Finals as a part of the Lakers when, if you don't remember who their head coach was, it wasn't nice. It wasn't pretty. It was Darvin Ham. And yes, I delayed so I could remember Darvin Ham's name because it's Darvin Ham. He was not a good head coach. But LeBron is one of the greatest minds, arguably the highest basketball IQ in NBA history. So that kind of negates things when you know that he's also kind of coaching, if you will. Also, the very worst, he's the second best player of all time. Last time I said he's the GOAT, well, someone unsubscribed from the channel. I understand that's going to happen, which is really, really weird, if I'm being honest, that you don't like my opinion on the man with the most points in NBA history and a slew of other accolades, who's clearly at the very worst the second best player of all time. But not the point. I am a huge LeBron fan. I've mentioned that multiple times on this channel. But not the point of this. Long story short, if you get to the conference finals, you're a good head coach. However, Tom Thibodeau, he's made a few conference finals. It's not many. Never won an NBA Finals. Well, he did as an assistant coach for the Boston Celtics, but never as a head coach. Never made the NBA Finals as a head coach. Had some solid teams. Unfortunately for him, those Bulls teams ran into Derrick Rose injuries that, yes, you could partially blame on Tom Thibodeau. Also, Derrick Rose's genetics clearly did not help, but the Luol Deng stuff, you can blame on Thibodeau. Shouldn't have been playing him 41 minutes a night for 2 straight years. However, also Joakim Noah took a bunch of injuries, and is everyone really injury prone, or was this on Tibbs? It's a good question. On top of that, the Minnesota Timberwolves weren't great. They were not good enough to win those NBA Finals, if we're being honest. Also, the Golden State Warriors did exist with that super team. There was nothing to do about them. That's the greatest team ever made. So there's not much for the Timberwolves to have been able to do if they ever even ran into the Warriors, which they didn't. They ran into the Rockets as an 8th seed and got dismantled. On top of that, now he's with the Knicks. The Knicks were the favorites to beat the Indiana Pacers, even though half the team was injured, which was not Tibbs' fault. It was bad luck for almost the entirety of everyone being hurt. But at the same time, Tibbs not made a conference finals with the Knicks after a few playoff appearances, and the New York Knicks, they very likely could start to go to look in another direction, which does make a lot of sense if we're being honest. It would add up, all things considered. Now, the Knicks, obviously not great against the top 3 teams, and you look at where things stand right now. Despite having a team that should be 5 out, they're 6th to last in 3-point attempts per game. That is atrocious. They just did not do that well enough for shooting threes. More teams shot with less spacing than the Knicks, which just proved the Knicks were just not in the right position to shoot a bunch of threes. It was a massive dip this year despite adding Karl-Anthony Towns. So the Knicks clearly have an issue there as well. A lot of people want Tom Thibodeau gone, and with him, they want a player gone. That player being Mikal Bridges. And Steve Popper mentioned that if the Knicks don't get past the first round somehow, there's going to be changes. People mentioned Tom Thibodeau, and Popper said he's heard rumors that the front office stuff could happen as well. Mikal Bridges is up for an extension, and a decision has to be made. To him, This is a make or break period for the New York Knicks. Are they going to adjust? Are they going to retool? Are they going to revamp this team from the top? Are they going to get rid of Tom Thibodeau? Are they going to fire Leon Rose as well? I definitely could see Tibbs getting fired. Well, here's the thing, very quickly. If the Knicks lose in the first round, Tibbs is going to get fired. Straight up, if they lose to the Pistons, Tibbs' job is done. If they lose to the Celtics and it's not competitive, coin flip. If they make it at all competitive with the Celtics, Leon's keeping his buddy Tom Thibodeau around. He might try to convince Tibbs to move into some vague front office role that doesn't really do anything, but he's there so he can keep getting paid and be around basketball still. Yeah, that's also a possibility. But where things stand right now, if the Knicks do lose to the Pistons, Tom Thibodeau is going to get fired. There's going to be a massive outcry for it. Leon Rose might get fired as well. And then Dolan is just going to axe Tibbs because Dolan is not afraid to throw a sword through everything if he has to, which does make things very interesting. Now, Mikal, he finished the season with 17.5 points per game, 4 assists, and 3 rebounds, shooting 50% from the field and 35.5% from deep. That's not bad numbers. It's just the 5 first-round picks who attached to his name makes these numbers look worse. But this was never a move for the flashy numbers. It's a move for the winning numbers. And can Mikal Bridges make this Knicks team win more games? That is the question that we're trying to figure out. All this being said, you just look at Kevin Durant. He's available in a trade. Shams mentioned that this marks the first action in a summer of change coming to the Suns when they fired head coach Mike Budenholzer. Phoenix is expected to engage in trade conversations involving Kevin Durant and will have discussions on the future of Bradley Beal as well. Multiple teams will seriously pursue Durant, who finished another stellar season, and the franchise is expected to work with Durant and his business partner Rich Kleiman, who's also the boardroom CEO, on the next landing spot for the future Hall of Famer. Durant, who averaged this season 26.6 points per game, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, shooting 43% from the field and 53% from 3, is absolutely, undeniably a future Hall of Famer and one of the great players to ever play basketball. One of the greatest offensive talents of all time and maybe the most unique offensive talent of all time. Now, here's the thing about Kevin Durant and his manager, Rich Kleiman. Kleiman is a diehard Knicks fan. I made a TikTok that's also on YouTube Shorts about how Kevin Durant's family wanted him to go to the Knicks. Now, Wanda Durant didn't really get involved, or maybe she did give her opinion, but it never came out. But Kevin Durant has openly said that his uncle, his dad, his aunts, and Kleiman all told him to go to the Knicks in 2019. What did Durant do? He went to the Brooklyn Nets. That didn't work out. 6 years later, the Knicks are interested in Kevin Durant. Mikal Bridges could get traded. Go figure. Would the Suns try to run it back? Wouldn't shock me. We'll see what happens, but changes could be coming to the New York Knicks very soon. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys want to see any of these moves happen? I imagine we're going to get a lot of fire tips in the comments. Let me know in the comments down below what you want to see the New York Knicks do if they flame out. If they don't flame out, what do you want them to do in this offseason? Let me know in the comments down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day, and go Knicks.